Hello, my dear listeners. This is Auntie May sharing another true life story that will touch your heart and remind you of the strength we all carry inside. Today's story is about a woman named Clara, a devoted wife who faced unimaginable betrayal from the man she loved for decades. But sometimes staying silent isn't weakness, it's the calm before justice arrives. Grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let me tell you what happened. Clara was 62 years old, with silver streaks in her hair and a smile that could light up any room. She and her husband, Robert, had been married for 38 years. They met young, back when life was simpler. He was a charming salesman, she was a homemaker who raised their two children with endless love. Clara sacrificed her dreams to support him. When the kids were little, she worked part-time jobs to help pay the bills, while Robert climbed the ladder at his company. She cooked his favorite meals every night, ironed his shirts perfectly, and never complained. Their home was a modest two-story house in a quiet neighborhood, the one Clara had poured her heart into decorating over the years. Family photos lined the walls, memories of vacations, holidays, and grandchildren's birthdays. Robert had always been the provider, and Clara was proud of that. But lately, things had changed. Robert started coming home later, making excuses about work meetings. He'd snap at her over small things, like leaving a dish in the sink. Clara noticed he was distant, scrolling on his phone with a secret smile. She asked gently if everything was okay, but he'd brush her off. "Mind your own business, Clara," he'd say. One evening, it all came crashing down. Clara had prepared a special dinner, roast chicken, just like on their anniversary. She waited for hours. When Robert finally walked in, he wasn't alone. There was a woman on his arm, much younger, maybe in her 40s, with flashy jewelry and a tight dress. Her name was Vanessa. Robert didn't even look embarrassed. He introduced her casually. "Clara, this is Vanessa. She's moving in with me." Clara's heart stopped. She stared at him, waiting for the joke, the explanation. But Robert's face was cold. "We've been together for 2 years now," he said. "I'm done with this old life. You've gotten boring, Clara. Always nagging, always the same routines. Vanessa makes me feel young again." The words hit like knives. 2 years? While Clara was taking care of the house, visiting their sick grandson, planning family gatherings? Vanessa smirked from the doorway, holding Robert's hand possessively. Clara felt tears coming, but she swallowed them. "Robert, after everything? The kids? The vows? Our home?" He laughed bitterly. "Our home? I paid for it all. You didn't contribute much lately." Then he walked to the living room, turned on the TV loudly, some sports game, and sat down with Vanessa cuddling next to him. Clara stood there, frozen, asking quietly. Suddenly, Robert grabbed the remote, switched off the TV, and stood up. His eyes were hard. "No more talking. Pack your bags and get out. Tonight. This is my house now." Vanessa giggled. "Yeah, honey, time for a fresh start." Clara's world spun. Get out? Where would she go? It was late, dark outside. She had no family nearby. Their kids lived across the country. But something inside her snapped into place. She didn't yell. She didn't beg. She just nodded slowly. "Okay, Robert, if that's what you want." She went upstairs quietly, packed a small suitcase with essentials, clothes, her medications, a few photos. Downstairs, Robert and Vanessa were already whispering and laughing. Clara paused at the door. "I'll be back for the rest tomorrow," she said softly. Robert waved her off. "Don't bother. I'll have your stuff boxed up." The door locked behind her with a click. Clara walked to her old car, drove to a nearby motel, and checked in. That night, she didn't sleep much. Tears came then in the quiet room. Betrayal from the man she loved? After 38 years? She thought about calling the kids, but it was too late. Instead, she prayed for strength. "Let karma handle this," she whispered to her. The next morning, Clara felt a strange calm. She drank coffee, dressed nicely, her favorite blue dress, and drove back to the house around 9 a.m. She had her key, but didn't use it. Instead, she knocked politely. Inside, she heard shuffling, voices arguing. Robert opened the door, looking annoyed and disheveled. Vanessa was behind him in a robe. "What do you want now? I told you to stay away." Before Clara could speak, another car pulled up, a sleek black sedan. Out stepped a well-dressed man in his 50s, tall, confident, with a briefcase. Robert's face went pale. "Mr. Harrington?" Robert stammered. That was his boss, the CEO of the company where Robert had worked for 30 years. Mr. Harrington smiled warmly at Clara. "Good morning, Mrs. Thompson. Thank you for meeting me here." Robert blinked. What's going on?" Clara smiled serenely. "Robert, dear, I forgot to mention something last night." You see, listeners, Clara wasn't just a homemaker. Early in their marriage, when Robert started his job, Clara had quietly invested the little savings they had. She was smart with money, reading books, following stocks. Over the years, while Robert thought she was just staying home, Clara built a portfolio. She invested in startups, real estate, even the very company Robert worked for. 20 years ago, a young entrepreneur pitched to her at a local event, Mr. Harrington himself. Clara believed in him, invested a significant amount, money from an inheritance she never told Robert about. That investment grew massively. Today, Clara owned 35% of the company, making her the majority silent partner. Robert's boss? He worked for her. Mr. Harrington nodded. "Clara called me last night. She informed me of some personal changes. As per our agreement, she's exercising her rights." Robert's mouth dropped open. "What agreement?" "The one where Clara can appoint or remove executives at her discretion," Mr. Harrington said calmly. "Effective immediately, Robert. You're fired. Security will escort you out today. And since the house is in Clara's name, paid off with her investments, you and your guest have until noon." Vanessa gasped. This can't be real. But it was. Robert begged, pleaded, "Clara, please, I made a mistake. Vanessa means nothing." Clara looked at him with quiet dignity. "You told me to get out. Now it's your turn. I stayed silent last night because I knew the truth would come out today." The kids were called. They rushed home, horrified at their father's betrayal, fully supporting their mom. Robert and Vanessa left with nothing but suitcases, scrambling for a cheap apartment. Robert's young again feeling? Gone. He ended up jobless, regretting every word. Clara? She sold her shares for millions, moved to a beautiful lakeside home, traveled with her grandchildren, and started a small charity for women facing betrayal. She found peace, love from her family, and even a new companion, a kind widower from church. My dears, this story reminds us, never underestimate a quiet woman. Betrayal hurts, but strength and smart choices win in the end. Karma doesn't shout, it just arrives at the perfect time. What do you think? Have you faced family betrayal? Share in the comments. Your stories inspire us all. If this touched you, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more real-life stories every day. This is Auntie May. Until next time, take